I know one that you would know, EB.
Yeah.
It's impossible for you not to know.
I'm not betting anything.
What is the doll that is the star of Child's Play?
Oh, the doll.
What's the name of the doll?
Yeah, the name of the doll.
What
One of the main
phrase the
characters of the
question
movie.
incorrectly?
I'll give you another nickname.
Here, he looks like this. Look, the bottom right.
Bottom right.
It's John Gruden's nickname. Right? I'm correct on that.
I can't. It's not coming to mind. What is
You
it?
don't know Chucky?
Chucky?
Yeah, I don't really know what Chucky is though. That's
This
the doll.
this was gonna blow your mind when I tell you the plot for Child's Play.
Go ahead.
So if Valdez,
Is it terrifying?
You can correct me if I'm wrong. A little kid has a doll who's his friend. This is a 4 or 5 year old kid.
Right.
He has a doll that's given to him as a gift.
All right.
By his mother, by his single mother.
All right.
This doll has been possessed by the spirit of, I believe, is it an executed serial killer or something along those lines?
Or like a mob boss, executed mob boss.
It's
or
something like that.
Yeah.
So the doll is possessed by an evil spirit,
All right.
and it goes around killing people in the movie Child's Play.
All right.
Just so you know. And the
Nice.
doll's name, Chucky.
Well, what was the name of the brand of the doll?
Oh, Good Guys.
Good Guy.
Good Guys doll. Kind of like a Cabbage Patch doll, if you had one of those as a kid.
I know you were watching Koulibaly last night.
I
and
was watching him,
Probably
yes.
checking a little bit on the Yankees. Did you know Halloween movies, or is that tonight you'll do that?
He's definitely going to watch the original Halloween tonight.
You know what? I did watch.
I watched a little bit of Halloween 2 last night.
You did.
I did watch 5 minutes with Valdez in the studio. Probably the worst Halloween movie of all time. Clearly the worst Halloween movie in the Halloween series. It's called Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's terrible. It has nothing to do with Michael Myers or any of the other Halloween storylines.
Remind me of that.
It's a movie about a company that is selling masks to children that on Halloween night, when they play the spooky Halloween song that I'm sure Valdez will now play for us, the masks get activated by the song that gets played, and then it melts the kids' heads and kills everybody that buys the mask.
That sounds stupid.
It's a horrible movie. You should never watch it, ever, ever, ever. There are hundreds of other better options to watch on Halloween than this piece of trash. Never watch it. It's a terrible movie. And the song's kind of catchy, but the movie is terrible.
What's the appropriate age to expose your little ones to scary Halloween movies? Haven't done this yet. I'm thinking when Isabel's 10.
That might be a little too young. Hold on. Are you talking about Halloween, the original?
Yeah, like
something
Halloween,
gory.
Poltergeist.
I think 10's too early.
I think like 12 to 13
yeah,
is
teenager.
probably a good age range for that.
10's too. That's too soon.
All right.
EB, do you prefer the original Halloween or the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween?
I've seen none
While
of
we're
them.
on this
I've
topic.
seen none of them. I've seen none
I
of
know
them.
you've seen none of them.
Yeah. It's not big in my house. Sorry.
It's not a thing for you.
No, not at
Understood.
all. What's a thing for me is the Commanders Giants.
Yes, well, that's a thing
I
for
would
everybody.
like to lock it on that.
Are you worried about a letdown? I just put
Little
this up
bit.
as the Scotty's Vodka poll of the day. Scotty's Vodka, Maryland made, super smooth, loved throughout the DMV. People may be sleeping on this game. It was close the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you looked at the yardage, I think Washington dominated in that, but wasn't separated by a lot of points. There was the Malik Neighbors drop on that last drive.
It's not that I think that the guys will let down, because I think they've proven that they play hard, playing hard, and they all, literally to a man, they all mentioned the brotherhood and playing for each other, and they do have some great vibes going. So I don't think they're going to go out there and sleep on them by any stretch. I just think that the Giants do pose some challenges.
I really want Jaden to have an outstanding game because I want both Joe Shane, who's the GM of the Giants, and Brian Daboll. I just want them to look longingly across the field.
I think they already do.
And be like, man, we wish we could have pulled off that trade to move up to number 2.
I think Daboll's already been quoted as saying Jaden's already one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
He knows what he's facing. He knows what he's up against.
But we're also up against something, too. I mean, the fact that they lead the NFL in sacks, Who's the defensive tackle? What's his name?
Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. He's
got
just an animal.
9 himself.
Yeah, he's just a massive human being.
They've got 35 as a team. We all know that Daniel Jones, for all his flaws, has played very well against us. Now, they don't have Saquon. And your boy Tracy's nursing a concussion, so maybe he won't be
He might
back.
not be there. But the thing in that first game, remember, Washington had 10 penalties and a bunch in the red zone.
They just stalled in the red zone.
And they hurt them. Yeah, so they had
moved
the 7
backwards
field
in the
goals.
red zone in that
But they
matchup.
did outgain the New York Giants. They outgained them 425 to 304. But they had the 10 penalties, which of course killed them. They held the ball for 37 minutes. I mean, they really did statistically dominate the game, but it was the penalties that killed them. And then of course, the Commanders got lucky because Gano got hurt, and Neighbors dropped the 4th down ball.
A lot of those penalties too were in the red zone, which has been an issue all season long. And I heard. I think I was listening to Grant Danny. Maybe it was on B. Mitch and Finley, and they were talking about some of the red zone difficulties. Might have been Grant who said, "Imagine if their offense is really highly ranked right now in points per game and yards per game. Imagine if they converted on some of those red zone opportunities, it'd be that much greater."
Just listen to the amount of points the Giants have scored in their losses. They have 6 of them. They've got a lot of losses. 6, 18, 15, 7, 3, 18.
Yeah.
They just can't get out of their own way offensively.
They just don't have the talent.
And I just feel like if the Commanders are on their game, if the running game does what it should do, gain 100, 140, 150 yards, control the ball, and Jaden has another good game, I'm not saying the Commanders are going to blow them out, but I feel like if the Commanders do what they normally do, score 28 to 30, it shouldn't be that
The
close
thing
of a
that'll
game.
keep New York in it is their defense.
Yeah.
And if they're getting after Jaden, they create a couple turnovers. That's offensively, they don't match up.
See, I kind of sleep on the penalties in the red zone because in that Giant game in particular, it was like week 2, wasn't it? Whatever the hell that was.
Second week.
And maybe there was like some cadence things. I don't know. And then this one, it was a lot of offensive line guys, right, jumping. Yeah. This one last week, I think Trent Scott was in there, right, like our 3rd tackle. I think he had 2 penalties. I'm hoping that gets cleaned up.
Maybe Coleman comes back.
Yeah, and just, maybe he just gets a little bit more adjusted to it, and, they clean that up. Yeah, that was on To Tell the Truth Monday. We got to clean up the penalties.
So this is a pivotal stretch for the Giants because they have 5 of their next 6 games at home. So if they're ever able to turn their season around, this is the stretch where they're going to possibly do it because they have the Commanders and the Panthers back-to-back. Then the Buccaneers come in. Looks like after a bye. So if their fortunes are gonna turn around, this is the stretch where they're able to do it.
Do you believe it when John Mara, whatever his name is, said he's not going to make any changes in the offseason?
No,
I don't believe that for a second.
You don't believe it for a second?
I think he's just being diplomatic, and he knows the season's already spiraling. He just doesn't want to make it worse.
So
in the moment,
yeah, it's so awkward.
I mean, if they go 4-13 or 5-12, he's going to make a change.
Right. There'll be no Brian Daboll. There'll be a new quarterback in town.
Right.
It's going to be
a new GM.
Complete. I mean, most likely.
Right.
You're going to blow out Daboll, the quarterback, and keep the GM around, who made the decision to let Barkley walk for a few $1 million.
They should probably let the GM go before they let the coach go. To be honest with you, he's the one who took the lead.
By the way, even if they had
the new
Barkley,
GM's going to want to pick the new coach.
Even if they had Barkley, it doesn't mean their record would be much better.
I don't think it would have been. But I mean, if Barkley, I don't know if Barkley would have performed.
It might be
this.
one game better.
Not sure if he would have performed like he is with the Giants, like he is with the Eagles, because their offensive line is so much better.
Yeah,
and their offensive ecosystem around him is just better in Philly than it is in New York.
I mean, I expect the Commanders to win. I agree with Cakes. I don't know if it'll be a blowout. I don't know if they're going to win 31-13.
But I mean,
the Giants will probably play them tough, but the Commanders should win this game.
Barring some weird circumstances and penalties or a bunch of turnovers, I expect the Commanders to score between 24 and 28 points against the Giants.
If they do pull this off and they're 7-2 for the first time since '96, do they close it out and get to the playoffs, unlike they did under Norv in that 3rd year with Gus and Heath?
I mean, their chances of making the playoffs would have to be like probably
90%.
90%
Yeah.
or higher.
So you'd bet on them 100%.
Yes.
I would probably bet on them. Yes,
You
probably
don't,
be a
you don't
safe
see
bet.
a 1 in 7 swoon down the stretch or whatever. it is.
Not really.
Does
seeing
anybody
that.
see that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
I don't see
curious.
that happening.